All right, let's jump right in. Today, in this explainer, we're dissecting a seriously fast-paced story of rejection, resilience, and honestly, some top-tier vindication. We're looking at the micro-narrative of Shiva and Rudra. Now, at first glance, you might think, oh, it's just a story about kids playing. But actually, it's a total masterclass in social dynamics, innovation born out of pure necessity, and flipping the power script. Whether you're dealing with office politics, chasing a personal goal, or, just need a quick shot of motivation, the mechanics of this comeback are absolutely universal. We're kicking things off right at the inciting incident with this incredibly brutal rejection. This really sets a high-stakes tone for our hero's journey. Just imagine putting yourself out there, asking for genuine friendship, and slamming into this absolute wall of conditions. Riva doesn't just say no thanks to Shiva. She goes straight for his current social standing. She literally demands a prerequisite for basic human connection. She says, first do something big. Well, that's the spark right there. It's harsh, it's super public, and it instantly sets up this massive hurdle for Shiva. But to really get why this stings so much, we have to look at what went down just seconds before.
Which brings us perfectly into part one, the wealthy show-off.
So let's take a look at the established hierarchy of this social circle, which, by the way, is completely dominated by Rudra. Notice the stark difference here between Rudra's instant gratification tactic and Shiva's total lack of material resources. When Riva says she's hungry, Rudra doesn't just grab her an ice cream, he buys ice cream for the whole crew. He's literally using his wealth to instantly purchase social favor and loyalty, creating this best day ever vibe funded entirely by his deep pockets. On the flip side, we've got Shiva. He steps up, offers a nice compliment, and asks to be friends, bringing absolutely nothing but genuine intent. And, well, in a social economy driven by free ice cream and stunt shows, pure intentions just aren't enough currency, are they?
And that total imbalance of power leads us straight into part two, the harsh rejection.
Okay, let's break down the anatomy of this rejection. When material wealth is your only social currency, anyone without it gets actively pushed out. The key takeaway here is that Riva doesn't just reject Shiva, she attacks his worth and sets a direct challenge that kicks the rest of the story into overdrive. She explicitly calls out his lack of resources, saying, "What do you have?" and sets this crazy, daunting KPI just to be her friend. And then the physical act of Riva and Rudra just walking away, it leaves Shiva completely isolated. For a lot of people, that's the end of the line. You get humiliated, you retreat, and you accept your place at the bottom. But luckily for us, this explainer isn't about giving up. This timeline is absolutely wild. It brilliantly shows how fast the drama escalates. We're talking breakneck speed here, shifting from a simple, sweet treat to a full-blown technological arms race in basically a minute. Look at this. 0 seconds eating ice cream, 30 seconds devastating social mockery, 60 seconds building an advanced robot dragon. It perfectly highlights a very real psychological truth. Sometimes your most intense motivation comes right from a place of deep, immediate frustration. Shiva doesn't even take a minute to sulk. He instantly channels all that sting of rejection into pure creative energy. Instead of retreating, Shiva makes a massive pivot. Welcome to part 3, Forging the Dragon Bike. So, Shiva focuses all that frustration into a huge mechanical undertaking. Let's walk through this comeback strategy, because it really proves that the absolute best way to handle a bully is to turn rejection into extreme productivity. Notice the sheer scale of his ambition here. He's not just trying to buy a bigger ice cream or match Rudra's little stunts. He is entirely changing the game. Step 1, pure internal self-belief, because without that, nothing else matters. Step 2 is execution. He retreats to his workshop and literally builds a robot dragon wing bike. It's a total symbol of power and willpower. Finally, step 3, the crucial re-entry. He doesn't keep this a secret. He rolls right back up to the people who mocked him and throws down a public challenge to the reigning champ, Rudra. With his masterpiece ready to roll, it's time for part 4, the ultimate race. So Shiva reveals his brand new, slightly dangerous creation, and what happens? The established elite instantly move the goalposts. Riva and Rudra double down on their arrogance. Riva plays gatekeeper all over again, basically demanding that Shiva prove his engineering marvel in a high-speed showdown. She completely diminishes the fact that he just built a robot dragon, saying building a bike isn't enough. And of course, Rudra jumps in with his usual overconfidence, betting that Shiva's new tech doesn't stand a chance against old-school bravado. They're basically trying to force Shiva to play by their rules.
Which brings us right to the climax of our explainer. This is where Rudra's established dominance finally goes head-to-head with Shiva's sheer grit and mechanical genius on the track. This is it, the moment where talk is cheap and execution is literally everything. All of Shiva's isolation and hard work is on the line against Rudra's raw, boastful talent. And while the source material breezes past the nitty-gritty mechanics of the race itself, the outcome is decisive and it is immediate. Innovation and hard work absolutely shatter the old hierarchy.
And that epic win brings us to part 5, Sweet Poetic Justice. Shiva completely dominates the race, fundamentally destroying the old social ladder and establishing a brand new currency. Just look at how fast loyalty shifts when success is undeniable. The currency isn't who can buy ice cream anymore, it's capability, innovation, and self-made success. Check out this before and after of Riva. Before the race, she was the ultimate skeptic, mocking his lack of wealth. The second he crosses that finish line and proves his worth, she instantly flips. She's apologizing and begging for a ride. It's the textbook definition of a fair weather friend. She's totally drawn to the spectacle, completely glossing over the fact that she caused his humiliation in the first place.
And here it is, the ultimate mic drop moment. Shiva could have easily just accepted her apology and soaked up the social validation he originally wanted. But going through the fire, building the bike, winning the race, it made him realize his own actual worth. He doesn't need Riva's permission to be valuable anymore. So he calmly but firmly reminds her of exactly how she treated him and completely denies her access to the very thing she forced him to build. He establishes a rock-solid boundary and delivers unyielding poetic justice to his former bullies. And then, he just rides off, completely secure in what he achieved.
So as we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with a final thought on resilience. This story is such a powerful reminder of how we can turn rejection into our absolute greatest fuel. Shiva's journey might be a quick one, but it's an incredible metaphor. The world is constantly going to ask you, what do you have, and tell you to do something big before you're supposedly worthy of a seat at the table. The real question is, how are you going to respond? Are you going to walk away defeated, or are you going to head into your workshop, put in the grueling hours, and build something so incredibly undeniable that they have no choice but to watch you win? Well, the choice is always yours. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and hey, keep building.